All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our annual meeting, something that we do every year to share some updates on Women's Empowerment International and ways to get involved. Another topic we'll discuss today. Many people have been asking, and we'll have a very special presentation that we'll jump to first here on one of our newest grant partners, OEF in El Salvador. So welcome everyone, and especially welcome Dinora Sanchez is our presenter today, the Executive Director for OEF El Salvador. And she is I just lost her bio here. She is a doctor of medicine and has a major in business administration. And so she comes to OEF with that fantastic experience, and she'll share a little bit more about her background and a lot about the organization and the program that we specifically supports. So Dinora, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for this invitation to be here this afternoon. I hope my mom, who's one of the OEF founders, her name is also Dinora, she can make it to join us in a few minutes. But well, I will begin with myself. As Sarah was telling, I'm currently the executive director for OEF. But since my mom is one of the founders and OEF has already achieved 37 years of work the last August, you may see that I have been in contact with OEF work almost my whole life. So I did volunteer work during my vacation when I was a student, and when after getting into the university and finish my studies as doctor of medicine, as Sarah said, well, I joined the team. That was 21 years ago. So I began working on the health area. Then I became the assistant for the executive director, who was my mom. And finally, 5 years ago, I had to take the chance to become the director. So I'm working on this position since then. And well, now I have a brief presentation to share with you so you can see who OEF is and what had we done for the last 37 years. Well, this is one of our slogans. OEF works to change lives and develop communities. This is who we are. We are a development nonprofit organization, and we're now working at 44 rural and urban marginalized communities to contribute to improve life conditions of families and children and youth. Those population are our target. Our staff is composed of 41 people. Of those, at least 80% are women. All the managers of projects are women also. And at least 68% of this staff is people who lives at the community they work. We have seen the experience had shown us that having people working at their own communities promotes development, but also contributes to technical sustainability of actions at the community. Well, let me tell you a little story of OEF in a glance. OEF was founded as a Salvadorian branch of an international entity, which was based at the US, Washington, DC, exactly. Its name is OEF International, That's why we kept the name here as a Salvadorian entity. OEF International began a project whose target was women who had to move from their community to another community because of the war. So what OEF did by that time was train these women to begin a small enterprise and provided also a microloan. And that is what we still do and what we are going to also make with this grant that Women's Empowerment has just approved for OEF. On 1988, the project financially supported by OEF International just finished. And then the 5 founders that you see at the top of the presentation, the technical staff was composed by 5 people. They saw the achievements that the project had, and they knew that it has to be more to be done. So they began doing a fundraising work. It took around 9 months for them to be without salary, working as volunteers to get the first donor, who was the Canadian Hunger Foundation. They provided the funds for the first project for OEF as a local entity. Then the Inter-American Bank joined to keep the loan program, and a travel through Europe was done to keep with the fundraising. And my mom she met Miserior. This is a German entity who helped OEF projects at least the first 10 years. And 7 years ago, we met again, and they are now financially supporting a project related to school retention of children and youth. So they are still our donors now. On 1989, Mrs. Ildiko Tesac, who was the one who put in touch with Miss Susan and she met OEF work. And since then, she has been one of our enthusiastic and strong fundraiser. And she was the one of the main touches she has made to OEF work was promoting us to work with children and youth, since she saw when she visited communities that whenever there are women, there are children also. So she promoted us to work with them too. On 2017, it was another important moment for OEF history, as some legal staff changed at El Salvador. OEF had to separate some profitable actions it had to bring out 2 companies from which OEF is the main owner. 98% of the actions belong to OEF to provide enough money to do the counterpart of all the projects. So the loan program OEF had is now managed by Credimana, which is a microfinancial entity, and a program related with real estate and a hotel who is named on Mrs. Ildiko husband, Pablito Tesac, is also managed by Mana Empresarial. These 2 companies have their name on the Mana, which is named on the Bible, because everything what OEF has and everything what these two entities or these companies have has almost bring to us by God and from heaven, just like the manna. About our vision and our mission, what I can say is that we want, OEF wants to maintain as a developing nonprofit organization who works to promote development focused on women and children. And what we want is we want to promote women empowerment on different spheres of life, socially, economically, and politically, so they become protagonists of their own development. Our values, as you can see listed here, are things that we want to achieve. The staff works every day to practice these values so we can become role models for the families we work for. Now, our main attention strategy is named Virtual Circle of Accompaniment, and it has 3 main work areas. The first one, support to education. The second one, health education. And the last one, support to employability. These 3 work areas are transversally crossed by some other actions that I will list you after. Well, now I'm gonna just mention some of the actions that we perform on the different work areas that we have, since at the end, we're gonna see a video where you will see through images and through actions, the work which is performed. On the support education areas, the early stimulation is promoted by family circles and also by children's stimulation centers to access children from 0 to 6 years old to develop adequately during their lives so they can successfully be inserted into school. To promote school rotation, we work with scholar reinforcement classrooms and also scholarships to keep children and youth studying and educated. And to promote families to be actively involved on their children education processes, then we have family schools where they are sensitized and we have talks with them for them to be involved directly on their children's lives. Then on the health education area, what we do is some talks to promote in families to change their habits and prevent diseases. We also guarantee the access to some of the health areas that the health ministry cannot cover. These areas are sexual and reproductive health, mental health, visual and oral health. We do it through coordination with other entities who provide those services. So we work for families to reach that services and guarantee their health care all the time. And the other action that we perform is the support to families under critical conditions, like having children with disabilities or a member of the family with a chronic disease. So what we do is we kept really close to these families to guarantee that this person who needs healthcare, who needs specific attention and special attention, they can reach not only the service, but they can reach the medicine, they can reach all what they need to to improve their life condition, even though the other problem they could have. And the other area is support to employability. Well, OEF is accredited by the local entity which regulates the vocational training. So we have been accredited from the last 30 years around. We have registered around 70 different specialties related to baking, cooking, construction, technology, and many others. To access to women and youth, mainly these trainings, so they can be, they can have an opportunity to begin a business or to find a job. At the same time, that is why we provide them with abilities for life and work. So they have all the skills required to self-employ or to get a job. We promote also the work internships. We try to access seed capital and microloans. We know that all these efforts help them to be employed or self-employed, but also it contributes to reduce violence and migration and irregular migration. I'm gonna stop because my mom has just arrived and she wants to say hello and introduce herself. She speaks English just a little, so if Luisa wants to help us, you will be welcome with the translation.
Hola, buenas tardes. Bueno, no sé exactamente qué ha dicho aquí mi hija, ¿verdad? Pero estoy segura que ya explicó ampliamente desde mi perspectiva. Una de las cosas valiosas de la ayuda de ustedes está en que están creando un fondo que lo hemos llamado créditos inclusivos, créditos solidarios.
Luisa, do you want to help us?
Yes, Dinora Senior just wants to say thank you so much for all the support. They're very happy to have partnered with WE and the types of funds that we are currently funding. Dinora, ¿quiere seguir? Los fondos.
Sí, digamos, eso para nosotros es una semilla muy apreciada, porque de esa manera podemos permitir que mujeres, digamos, totalmente excluidas de lo que es la posibilidad de tener un crédito, puedan acceder a esos fondos. Y gracias a Dios primero, y gracias a ese regalo, digamos, a ese gesto de ustedes, ya la Fundación CRIT, ¿verdad? La Fundación CRIT, ¿verdad? Se ha sumado a ese esfuerzo, igualmente aprobó ya una donación, ¿verdad? Para que ese fondo ya no sean solo $12,000, sino que vayamos mucho más allá. Entonces, siento de que ustedes, digamos, han hecho una cosa muy valerosa, ¿no? En tanto en cuanto que el corto plazo, pues alguien más se suma a ese esfuerzo y por lo tanto es algo obviamente y desde todo punto de vista es algo muy, pero muy, muy valioso.
Dinora is just really speaking more about how valuable these funds are to helping women, empower women, other resources that normally wouldn't be available to them in order to really empower women.
Y digamos, estoy ahorita a partir de esa iniciativa de tener este tipo de fondos, queremos ir más allá. Queremos hacer una credimaná, digamos, amigable, ya en la línea de tener en algún momento, digamos, parecernos con la banca ética que le llaman, ¿no? En la línea bueno, siempre buscar la sostenibilidad, porque ese es el desafío, ¿verdad? Uno de los desafíos, buscar la sostenibilidad. Pero ¿cómo hacer ese equilibrio entre la sostenibilidad financiera y contribuir, digamos, eficazmente y muy significativamente en la vida de la gente, en la vida de los clientes, ¿ya? El desafío es ese. Y en esa línea, ¿verdad? Como para ponerle más fuerza a esto, tenemos planeado un viaje a Europa con otro socio que tenemos allá, que es un socio europeo, y que ya, bueno, nos dijo que él iba a ayudar y que no solamente ayudar, digamos, en términos de conectarnos con esa banca ética que tienen allá en Alemania, sino que no solamente que son ellos parte de la banca ética, ¿ya? Sino que, es decir, nos van a introducir como parte de ellos, que somos sus socios, ¿no? No sé cómo explicar,
Yeah.
pero es como una doble, ¿ya?
Dinora is very hopeful and trying to, in the future, be more independent and be able to offer those loans directly to their clients. And they are working on having other investors, and they're potentially traveling to Germany to visit some founders there potentially. And yeah, she's just really happy to be able to be working with we.
Entonces, ustedes realmente son como esos sembradores, digamos, parte de un sueño, de una utopía que están dando las bases como para poder, como dije, tener esa certeza, ¿verdad? De que realmente Credimaná puede llegar a ser parte de esa banca ética, que entiendo que también hay una banca ética en los Estados Unidos, ¿verdad? Entonces, eso es algo muy, pero muy innovador, y al final, pues la dueña de Credimaná es OEF, ¿no? Y eso tiene que notarse, que es una ONG, ¿verdad? La dueña, ¿no? Entonces, cómo realmente se nos nota que hacemos negocios financieros, pero de una manera justa, digamos, ¿verdad? En donde todos ganamos, ¿no? En un marco de ganar, ganar.
Dinora made a really beautiful reference that I don't think I'm going to get this exactly correct, but she made a reference of how we are kind of like the seed with providing our funds in order to get, you know, our mission accomplished to empower more women. So she's really hopeful that they'll be able to be more independent in the future and in building more partners like we.
Sí, bueno, y aprecio este espacio que nos han dado, ¿verdad? Les deseo bendiciones para ahora y para siempre, y que realmente al final del proceso, al final de este proyecto, ustedes estén tan enamoradas como nosotros estamos de los resultados que cada una de las familias a los cuales van a llegar estos recursos, ojalá, digamos, contribuir para cambiarle sus ingresos, ¿verdad? Mejorar sus ingresos. Y a la par de los ingresos con la empresa, ustedes saben, las mujeres tienen que hacer decisiones, o los jóvenes, ¿verdad? Tienen que hacer decisiones, tienen que conocer del mercado, tienen que tener como un desarrollo natural y obligatorio que demanda, digamos, el tema del negocio, ¿no? Entonces, no solo es el tema de generar ingresos al final, sino que también de generar una experiencia, de generar sabiduría y de generar capacidades, las capacidades esas para la vida, ¿ya? Que al final, de repente, eso es como ir a la universidad de la vida.
Sí, es muy verdad.
Okay.
Dinora is sending her well wishes to everybody, and she is also speaking about how empowering and providing this training to her clients. These tools are really more valuable. Sometimes for these people, it's almost like going to college. It makes a really significant difference in their lives.
Y Ildico habla también de todas ustedes, especialmente de Susi, ¿no? Que ya casi las conozco, ¿no? Entonces, Gildico está siempre hablando de Susi, que la conoció así, que fue una cosa muy, muy fructífera, porque era como estar hablando el mismo lenguaje, a pesar de que no se conocían físicamente, ¿no? Entonces, es como que ustedes son, digamos, bueno, pensamos similar, ¿no? Entonces, estamos haciendo un trabajo de equipo, aunque ustedes estén allá, nosotros acá, pero sentimos que ustedes son parte de nuestro equipo y por supuesto esos socios estratégicos que estamos siempre necesitando. ¿Ok?
Sí, gracias, Dinora.
Ok.
Dinora is saying that she's really hopeful about working with we, and sorry, I just kind of lost my train of thought. Dinora, ¿me puedes ayudar con el final?
Que sí, yo le puedo ayudar. Okay, my mom is one of the most enthusiastic people I know. And she's always willing to share that enthusiasm with everybody. So what she was saying is that we not only the happiness that we have for joining but also this willing that OEF has to make changes on life of people, to get there, provide a microloan and make a real difference on the family, on the woman, but also on her family, to make her improve herself, to make her make a difference on their children's lives and get for them a better future. So this is just a seed that, like she was saying before, but a seed that we hope to become into a gorgeous, pretty tree, which covers the family where it goes, but also the community, and hopefully for the country. That's the goal. That's the dream that we have. And we are now joining you, and you are joining with us to make this dream come true. Well, and now I'm just want to keep finishing with some points related to OEF work. As I told before, we have some transversal axes which cross all the actions that we perform. One of the most important for us is the spiritual empowerment and practice of values for families. We promote the love to God. We don't care about religion, but we promote that every family knows about God and loves Him. We also promote the environmental care and food production. We try to reach art, culture, and sports for everybody. We also promote youth and women to get involved into entrepreneurship. And we also work side by side with local governments and its stakeholders to make them get involved in all the actions, since they live and they work at communities, so they have to be part of the actions to promote their development. Then I just want to show you a little of our impact in numbers. We work at 6 states of the 14 at the country, at 44 different rural and urban marginated communities. We have achieved almost 300 leaders working at the communities to promote the actions to be developed. And between that, we are now accompanying almost 6,000 families. From them, 1,093 children have had access to initial education and the school and scholar education, keeping away from violence. That one of the most important achievements that we look for. Also, at least 44,000 youth and women had access to occasional training on different specialties, so they are able to self-employ or get a job and 1,000 families have guaranteed their access to healthcare attention, and they had improved their knowledge about preventing diseases. And about environment, the last year, at least 6,900 trees were planted at different communities we work with. Okay, now about the project. Women empowerment will be founded. The project name is Entrepreneurial and Empower Women. We are looking, the goal is to give access to 40 women to a microloan. We are looking for women, or we have identified 40 women who already have a business idea, but they don't have the sources to make it happen, or women who already have a little business and they need capital to strengthen that business. We have called that little fund, or that fund is not little, but the fund we have called it inclusive credits or inclusive loans for women. From the $20,000 approved on this grant, 12,000 will be directly to be part of that inclusive loans fund. This fund will be managed by Credimana, that, as I told before, is the company which now manage the loan program OEF had in the past. At the same time, we are willing to reach at least 600 women to be empowered on their leadership, on their decision-making, and given access them to health, mainly the sexual and reproductive health and mental health. And we are going to guarantee the access for these women to that kind of healthcare too. So these are in numbers and briefly what we are looking for with this grant that we is now supporting and giving OEF. And as my mom was telling before, to make this this inclusive loans fund even bigger than now it is, Credimana just won a prize which is released by a local foundation. This local foundation is Fundación Gloria de Crit. They annually give a prize to different enterprises who have a social vision. So this year, Credimana won the 3rd place. It were 40 proposals what the foundation received. We were on the 8th finalist and we got the 3rd prize. So now the initial fund, which was 12,000, is 22,000. So with this, we're gonna reach not only the 40 women, but also at least 30 more, that it could be women or youth who also have a business, already have a business, or they have this idea, but they don't have the money or the sources to begin it. So what we are looking on this line of credits or loans is we're gonna provide microloans between 100 and 350 approximately. And we're not gonna ask for a real warranty. We are gonna charge only the 7% of interest for the repay. And we're going to look for people who at the communities have a really, how to say, somebody who is a leader at the community, somebody who has a really good background, and somebody who everybody trusts on them. That will be the clients for these microloans that Women Empowerment and International and the foundation, the Fundación Gloria de Cristo, will support. So now, just for you to see the context of the families we work with, we have a video that Sarah will help me to share with you. So I will stop sharing my screen. And Sarah, if you can help me, please.
Yes, well, I see that the video is about 6 minutes long.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that we have time for questions.
Oh, okay.
If anybody has time. So I think what I might do is send out a link to the video afterwards. But maybe this is a good time to pause and see if there are any questions from the group, and then we can see if we have time for the video in this or not.
Perfect, Sarah.
Okay. Debbie has a question.
Yeah, Denora, thank you so much for that wonderful description and your mother's heartfelt comments, even though I didn't understand anything except what Luisa said. My question is, you just mentioned at the very end, the criteria that you were going to look for to identify women who are going to get the loans. And I just wanted to see, is that for the combination of the two programs together, or was that specifically for the foundation money?
It's for a combination. It's the only difference is that for the grant provided by we are just focusing on women only. We are reaching 40 women with the fund that you provide.
Got it. Thank you.
Susan.
Denora, can you just talk a little bit about the support you give these women kind of before and after you give them the loan? I know you've told me before, but I think it would be good for everyone else to hear the kind of support that you provide to these women for their businesses.
Yes, yeah, of course. What we are doing now is identifying these women. These women are from these 6,000 families that we work with. So they will also be accompanied or supported with all other services which are present at their own community. So they will have access to these educational talks related to healthcare. They will also have access to their talks related to getting involved on their children education process. And the women, specifically those who reach the loan, we're gonna, at every community, we have a facilitator, a lady or a man who is a leader, who has been trained by OEF and who works at the community. So this person will be responsible for the follow-up of the business of these women. They will be visiting regularly. They're gonna see how is going the repayment process of this lady, and she's going to support, because all the facilitators have had some training related to entrepreneurship. So they have some experience to share with the woman who has the business or who is beginning a new business. And that's the accompaniment we are willing to give to not only to the 40 women who will have the microloan, but also to the 600 women we're gonna also empower with this grant that you are providing.
Thank you. And I see a question in our chat box
Okay.
that says, what will the average size loan be for the WE funded clients? And what is the interest rate that you'll charge for the WE clients?
The first part I didn't understand. Let me read it. Okay, about the size of the loan, we are planning to be like the same that I show you related to the another foundation. It would be between $100 and $350. That would be the size of the loan, and the interest would be the same. That is why we have created this loan line at Credimana. This fund is called Inclusive Loans, and they have all the same characteristics. So we are going to change only the 7% annual. And from that, 4% is to cover some of the management costs to deliver the loan and to manage the repayment. And the other 3%, we hope to improve the fund with that 3% extra that we're gonna charge.
That's great. And you mentioned that that percent was something that you were going to change, I think, from their standard interest rate. What is the standard rate?
Okay, for Credimana,
Yes.
the standard rate could be between 28% and 32 or 48, inclusively until 48%. We have an interest that is controlled at the country. The interest rate is controlled by an entity here, and we try to manage, but we go as low as 28% annual until 40 or 48% annual. So this interest is just to create or to promote on women the culture of repayment, that they see the loan as opportunity to grow, to begin something, but also create on them this commitment to repay for the money. So on the video, I don't know if we can see it, but on the last part, you're gonna see somebody who tells her experience. She doesn't say it on the video, but she has been working with Credimana for the last 9 years. And she began with a loan of $200. And now she has been repaying every loan that she had and she began with selling tortillas, and now she has a store, a medium store, I could say, and her loan, the last loan was around $1,500, I guess. So that's the difference that we have. But what we are reaching is that to make women be aware of that when you have the opportunity to have a loan, you have to pay.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. There is another question regarding the statement about spirituality. You had mentioned that was something that you focus on with the families. Is that a requirement for your microfinance clients, or how are they exposed to that?
No, it's not a requirement, never. Okay. As I said, we don't promote religions, but when all the families that we work with get closer to us, to a talk, to educational talk, or any kind of the service, we always, every activity at the community is begun with a little prayer. The prayer is performed by a child or a young girl or young boy who is there, or it could be performed by a woman or a man. We do it shortly, but we do promote them to know about God, and they know that there's this person, if I can say like that, who take care of us and who loves us. But it's not a requirement. It's never a requirement.
Thank you. And then another question that popped in. Do the loan clients participate as members of a group, like a solidarity group, or are the loans given to just individuals?
No, we had the experience to have like little community banks. And sometimes we had a really good time, but not always. So all the loans provided now are individual, all of them. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Um,
Any
Mhm.
other questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I saw somebody else coming in and joining our call. Welcome. So thank you so much for that presentation. I really appreciate all of the information. I think it was very informative, and I know I enjoyed hearing about the larger organization that you have and not just the program that we support, but definitely that focus. I appreciate that. Thank you. We have a few updates between Debbie and myself that we want to share about the organization also to sort of wrap up our annual meeting portion of this gathering. But I definitely want to make sure that everyone can see the video. So what I think we'll do is we will go ahead and share those updates. And then at the end of that, I can play the video for anyone who can stay on. But if there's anyone who has to leave right at 1 o'clock, then we'll still end. We'll try to end that on time. And I will share the link to the video right after this call. Okay, so Debbie, do you want to go ahead and jump into updates?
Absolutely. And I'm going to have to zip through these really fast.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic presentation. I really appreciate it, Denora. Thank you again. So 2022 highlights. We made grants of $250,000. Most importantly, I think we have 3 new pilot projects and 5 renewed partnerships with grants and 2 maintained partnerships. So quickly, our new partners are, as you heard, I won't say any more about OEF El Salvador, but also Urban Core San Diego, a $10,000 grant to help women clients with purchases of cars so they can get to work. And in Guatemala, an organization called Multicolores, who is assisting, it's an artist cooperative. They're training Mayan women in indigenous embroidery arts, as well as teaching them design concepts, marketing concepts, and leadership skills as well. Our renewals are with funding this year are the IRC in San Diego, Via International in Tijuana, Adelante in Honduras, Boutique Sante in Haiti, and the Nyaka Granny project in Uganda. And our maintained projects, we're still following these projects, but they didn't ask for new money this year. Our Girls Invest in San Diego and Proyecto Matria in Puerto Rico. We had one paused project this year, that's Dreams for Change in San Diego. We still love Dreams for Change and Teresa Smith, the founder and executive director, but they've grown. And for the time being, we felt that they didn't really need the grant from Women's Empowerment. So we're still staying in touch with them and promoting the food trucks for our own events as well as other organizations' events. Moving to the board, we had a couple of losses this year. We're sad that Carol, hi Carol, she's here, stepped away from the board, but she's still an active volunteer and we really appreciate all of her hard work. And sadly, Ruth Cavell passed away. She was an important contributor for a number of years on the WE board, and we will have lasting benefit from her work. We have 2 new board members, Landon Villanueva and Jose Nuncio. We're delighted to have both of them. Jose is a returning board member, and he's also the chair of our finance committee. On the staff side, we're so pleased to have Sarah Adams here today as our second executive director. She took over in January following 6 successful years with Paige Bradley. And, she had a ton to learn. She's learned it. She's added to the organization. And we're just, it's just wonderful to have you, Sarah. Sadly, we tragically and too early lost Teresa Wang, former board member and our second employee at Women's Empowerment. We're still affected by both personally and organizationally by her loss. So we're just very sad about that. With Stephanie Rivera on contract, helped us with marketing this year and our social media, as well as a lot of design contributions. And then we had contract help with from Tiffany, as well as help for our event, our signature event. In terms of signature events, we had our very successful fundraiser at Coastal Roots in Encinitas. And then the Julian Circle had their wonderful soup event, which was brought back after a couple of years of not having it because of COVID. And it was very successful. We don't have any Julian folks here today, but I'll just shout out Mary Morgan, who I think raised about $3,500 for us with her handmade greeting cards, which she has sold at events as well as in Julian. We had a couple of partner visits this year. We got to Via International on the Dia de los Muertos in Tijuana. We had a fantastic day with about 18 volunteers visiting, and they showed us a number of their programs, and we got to be entertained by the children at the Indigenous school in a fantastic way. And then some of us went to the IRC to tour the facilities at El Cajon and City Heights. And it was wonderful to see, in particular, the client spaces in El Cajon and see the care in which IRC provides services and help to the clients that we support with the We Star program. We had some Zoom panel events, which were very successful. In particular, we had an uptick of people who visited the videos after the fact, it makes it so important for us to record these so that not only the people here could see them, but we can go back later and watch them again, or other people who couldn't be here today can watch. And then lastly, I'll just mention that we are continuing our WISE program, the Impact and Sustainability program. We had another successful report from our former board member, Judith Fullerton, and Louisa Cano, who is her co-conspirator in that project. And they will be continuing to continue that WISE analysis this year. Looking ahead to 2023, we are very hopeful to have some partner visits, not just to our local areas, but to our far-flung partners. Our liaisons for our Nyaka Granny project in Uganda have solidified some dates in September for a site visit. They're hoping for 2 to 3 partners or pairs of couples or some singles to join them. And as somebody who went on that trip last time in January of 2020, I can assure you that it's well worth it to make that long trip. We're also hoping, and Louisa is starting to think about organizing a trip to Honduras to visit Adelante. We haven't seen them since 2019. So if that comes together, it'll be a wonderful opportunity for some volunteers to visit that partner. One of our board members, Christy Hendrickson, who's here today, is going to be visiting Guatemala and is taking the time and effort to go visit Multicolores. So we're really near the beginning of the year, we're really excited to hear about what she has to say when she comes back from that trip. And then again, we'll visit Tijuana via International and our local San Diego partners. We're hoping to resume some in-person board meetings this year. We're continuing on our growth path, and we're hoping to develop some new giving circles. I just want to wrap up by saying that, we're on this aggressive growth plan. We had a goal this year of $393,000. It looks like with 2 weeks to go in the year, we are short. We are still looking for about $60,000. So to the extent that you guys have networks that you can still access and promote women's empowerment, if you know friends or family you think might be interested in making a donation, please reach out to them. If you know people that you think might be interested, but you're not comfortable reaching out to them, let Sarah or me know and we'll reach out to them. We want to get closer. We might not hit it, but we really need to get closer than where we are at this moment. So I think I'm going to turn it back to Sarah, who in like less than a minute is going to tell you about some opportunities.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for that excellent recap of the year and look ahead. That was fantastic. So you can see we have a lot going on at WE, and it's been a really great year, and that we are all sort of emerging from the pandemic. And so I've had a lot of interest in people who want to get involved again in WE or are interested in getting involved for the first time. So we have a lot of volunteer opportunities, and we're trying to build those up. One of our biggest needs right now is for a volunteer treasurer. That could be a board position or doesn't necessarily have to be. So we're looking for someone with CPA experience, some accounting experience, experience with taxes, experience with nonprofit taxes is definitely a plus, or nonprofit accounting is a plus. So please, like Debbie mentioned, work those networks as much as you can. We've been promoting it and are still looking. Other opportunities, really, if you have skills to share and would like to offer those up, we would love to find a way to get you involved and take advantage of all of the time and talents and skills that you have. So we can always use help with administrative tasks, research and education, writing, and fundraising support. We also have a few committees that have openings, including our marketing and PR committee, our event planning committee, and our fundraising committee. And they're all great groups. They're lots of fun to get involved. So if you have any interest, please let me know. And as Debbie said, we can always use help just in general with fundraising. If you're interested in hosting a fundraiser, if you have an idea for a fundraiser that you'd like to pitch over to me, I'm always looking for new ideas. If you're part of a group that would either like to consider becoming a giving circle as a one-time thing or an ongoing thing, that's great. It can be something that you just host maybe one event a year, or if you're part of a book club or something like that and is interested in maybe picking a special book and related to the topics that WE affects and impacts, and using that as a special one-time fundraiser, that's great too. And so it can look like a lot of different things, and I'm always available if you want to talk through what that could look like and how to get that started. Other things coming up this time of year, there is a lot, of course, of gift giving around the holidays. And so special ideas to keep WE close to your heart and to extend that to those you care about. You can always make a donation in someone's honor as a special gift. And if you'd like to send them a little something branded with WE, I can always send you note cards, bookmarks, stickers, and a little, just a little something to include to let them know that you were thinking about them over the holidays. And if you're shopping on Amazon, we do have an account on the Amazon Smile. So a percentage of every purchase goes toward us. You just have to log in through smile.amazon.com and select WE as your organization of choice. So again, if you'd like to get involved and have any questions, please let me know. Thank you all so much. I'm going to wrap up the formal portion of our meeting here today. So I am going to go ahead and let everybody go if you need to go. But if you'd like to stick around, I will stick on the line if you have questions, other thoughts or ideas you'd like to share. And if anyone would like to see the video right now, I can also run that too. So
Hey,
thank
Sarah.
you. Yes.
Sarah, before you dismiss us all, I just
Yes.
want to congratulate the board for an incredible year. against a lot of challenges that the environment is throwing at us, but you have done a spectacular job, and I salute how ambitious you are in getting out there to help women who need we. So thank you very much to each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. And that's true. We have a fantastic board and just a group of volunteers, dedicated members. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy it all, the busyness and everything. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.